It's only 6 minutes, chat. It's only 6 minutes. It can't be that bad. Famous last
Ian
words.
Wall Super Chat 20 Swedish krona.
Famous
Jaffe,
last words.
when you Google the word boomer, you get him.
True. All right. It's only 6 minutes, chat. It can't be that bad. It really can't. It really can't be that bad, chat.
When I say to you the issue is the writing, and then you say, no, it's the message. You can never put pro-LGBT messaging in games. People don't like that. You know what they also didn't like back?
Holy shit, dude.
Atom in Super Chat $10. Hey Alex, I am trying to start a YouTube gaming channel. Is an intro and outro necessary for beginners, and should I try to record every week even if I am working 2 jobs?
Adam, thank you for the 10. If you're trying to make a gaming channel so you don't need an intro or outro. No, it's not necessary. What you want to do is think about why someone would want to watch you.
Edge Knight 1789 Super
and yeah,
Chat
record once a week,
$5.
yes.
Shout out to Josh for this happening, but Alkin Slice and I will be doing an interview
Nice.
stream at 1 p.m. this Friday. We discussing the lore/history of salt.
Congrats, bro. It's going to be awesome. Congrats, Edge. But Adam, yeah, it's recording and editing and uploading is like we're going to the gym. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And if you don't do it often, then you're going to just not be good at it. It's so like you'll first lift your weight. You're kind of like doing one of these. You're like, I don't know. Shit sucks. This is terrible. And then the more you do it, you're just like, oh, okay, now I know the routine. Now I know the motion. Now I can do it. So you'll just get better as you keep doing it. You have to do it. Right? That's the only way to get better is to always fucking do it. This fucking guy did this all on purpose, bro. This fucking guy did it all on purpose, dude.
Silence Idiot
This
donated
fucking guy did it all on
$1.
purpose. Brother,
Loki, I do
gifted.
hope Jaffe doesn't fall down into the review Tekasa or Adam Sessler barrel of gamers who martyr themselves.
I think he already did, actually. I think he absolutely already did. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's do this, Jaffe. Man.
Kunamat Super Chat 5 Swiss francs. Alex is just jealous of Jaffe because he is bald by choice.
True.
And thanks for destroying my life with the PO2 advise.
You're welcome.
Foot.
You're fucking welcome.
Back in 1940, 50, and 60, narratives with black people in it. If you're going to be Mammy and Gone with the Wind and you're going to be helping Miss Scarlet get her dress worked on, that's acceptable. Well, guess what now? Denzel Washington's one of the biggest, most bankable fucking actors in the world. So sit on that,
what?
you homophobic, racist asshole.
Sometimes maybe you shouldn't do that and like start your video like that because...
Peter Brady Super Chat $5. Why does David Jaffe look like Artie Lang without a beard and a normal looking nose?
I don't know, Peter, but thank you for the 5. Why though? I don't know, but we're gonna find out. Let's see what happens. That's kind of
I think it's not fair that you you name call me and then you just say goodbye because you have lost the argument. So
what?
Okay, so apparently there's context missing. So did this guy call in? Here's what I'm gathering right now. This guy called in and Jaffe hung up on him. And the guy's like, well, you hung up on me because you lost the argument. That's what it sounds like.
What argument did I lose? I literally just said, tell me how I lost the argument.
You put a long monologue and you don't let me.
It's my
respond
show. Nobody comes to hear you.
I understand. Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh, it's my show. Nobody comes. Then why do you have a call-in show? Then why do you have a call-in show if it's your show? DSP reforging? Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds. Host is supposed to let the guest speak as well. Yeah, exactly. It's not just about him. But okay, let's keep going.
Yeah, I understand that. It's fine, but that's
Nice
not
guy.
a good look for you. And
I don't care
if
about
you
a good
want
look
to-
for me. I don't care about a good look for me. What I care
Okay,
about,
when
Dragon.
you do-
Wait.
if you
What?
think of-
What I care about is if you have something to say, then go ahead. Here's your chance. The floor is yours. Go.
That is. So here's the problem. With a lot, like, so here's the problem. If you are not mentally equipped to handle being in front of an audience on stream, and you have someone who is, I wouldn't say aggressive, but someone who understands how to, I think manipulate's a bad word too, understands how to keep flow happening, but the other person doesn't, then you can easily push the other person around and make yourself look bigger because they don't have the ability to understand that flow. Does that make sense? Like Utsav is a perfect example. Right? I let him talk. I let him do his thing because basically he was just doing whatever he did on his own to make himself look like a dumbass. But if someone tried to call in and they've never like called in before, or they never did anything like that before, and all I did was just kept cutting him off and cutting him off and cutting him off and cutting him off and cutting him off, then that doesn't help because they probably don't understand how to work in a situation with like a live debate. Maybe they're nervous being around like hundreds of people. Maybe they don't really understand how to work that, or they can't just like push back on that, like, well, now you want me to go? Like, he could have easily like pushed back on Jaffe and being like, wait, now you want me to go after you hung up on me? What is the problem here? Like, there's other ways that he could have, I would even say, tilted Jaffe even more into that area. But that's just me.
Okay, so you said that these progressive ideas, there are ideas in the world that are controversial, that will be harming your product as sales-wise. That is a fact of life.
Okay.
So if I'm just so I'm not I don't understand why these big game studios are putting millions and millions, hundreds of millions on products that have some ideas that are controversial and will be harmful for their entertainment. I understand. Make what you want with your ideas, with your own money, or like not put that much money into them. It's fine. Don't go do that. But I don't understand how these big studios are putting hundreds of millions on games and entertainment that will not sell. So that is just what I'm wondering.
Well, again, and it's not, you saying it's a fact doesn't make it a fact. But what I said that I think we agree with, you and I, is that if you have a message in your game, you're not going to appeal to everybody.
All right, there was a cut there. Was something missing? That was a cut. I think two things can be true at the same time. I think you can have a game that is well written and has a quote unquote message, but at the same time, it'll actually still be a good game and sell incredibly well. Metal Gear Solid 5 is a perfect example. It has a very anti-nuke message with nuclear powers that is incredibly political in every sense, but it's sold incredibly well and it has a lot of things inside of it that like make you want to think about things. But there's also games that do it incredibly poorly. I think the problem isn't the fact that there are gay characters or anything like that. I think the problem is that it's ham-fisted, and there's no
Gene Gillespie
like,
super chat $5.
There's no
maybe trans characters' top surgery scars in a fantasy game isn't immersive. It works for say Cyberpunk. It's not racist or homophonic.
I think that is also a point, Gene. Like it feels more shoehorned in than respected. And I think that's the problem that people have with it. Instead of it being like, oh, okay, this makes sense in like a Cyberpunk game. This makes sense in like these kinds of games. But I think when you're looking at it from the perspective of like, this is just here to like Overwatch. Every time Blizzard fucks up, they make a character gay. Like that's not like what like this is what we're gonna do now? Like so you fucked up with China, Soldier 76 went gay. You fucked up here, now Tracer's gay. Like it's okay, so we're just doing this for fucking like what's happening? And it feels more ham-fisted, and it feels more not having a reason for being there than it does actually like being there. Like 2B and 9S, I think, is a perfect example. Like that's another great example, I think, of like that kind of relationship. You know, China is also, yeah. Agreed.
Body with your message, no matter if I or you agree with it or disagree with it. But
Alex, you're describing logical sensibilities. Folks don't always think this way. Agreed. I think also at the same time, like, I think the problem is twofold on both sides. Here we go, fence sitter Alex. I think the problem is that it's become so ham-fisted and so pushed that instead of it being respected when it's an actual piece of art doing the right thing in the right setting in the right place at the right time, that people will just look at it and go, well, you do these things that these other games did, therefore it's fucking woke. Like we had the synthetic man syndrome, basically, where it's like, woke! You know, like it's just every single time it's just that. Even though there's probably a perfectly good logical reasoning inside of the writing as to why that character is that way. Just because that character is there and it's just part of a checkbox that people have seen before, because just by recognizing patterns, they just go ahead and do that. They're like, there it is! There it is! It's woke! You know, like, that, like, he went off the deep end? Agreed. Yeah, 100%. Like, it just gets to a point where it's comical, you know? Part of the problem is that writing is so poor that the identity of a character becomes a personality. It's just grating. Yes. I agree with that. I agree with that as well. Like, I think the issue is that the writing is in fact poor. I think also too, like when you look at Miles Morales and Spider-Man the movie, like that just basically goes to show like it doesn't really matter as long as the writing is good. You know, Baldur's Gate 3 is a perfect example. Did anybody call that game woke? Chat, was Baldur's Gate 3 woke? I don't remember anybody claiming Baldur's Gate 3 was woke. Crazy. Wasn't that wild, chat? Baldur's Gate 3, nothing wrong, but man. Yeah, but Griffin calls everything woke. Griffin is just Synthetic Man Jr. He's gonna be like, oh, whatever. Mass Effect 3 and Inquisition to the gay character, great. I think so. I didn't play ME3 or DAI, honestly.
You are talking about a big budget game, then I would agree that it needs to be better written. It needs to be a bit more subversive.
Silence Idiot donated $1.
Sure. I agree with that, Jaffe.
I mentioned earlier, Tokyo Godfathers is one of the best Christmas anime films out there.
Oh.
Those trans/drag characters cannot be displayed nowadays in Western media.
I gotta see that.
Cyberpunk managed it with that one crack.
With that one cracked out fixer? I gotta watch that.
Super chat
Thank
$2. Love Shadowheart and Karlach is big sister.
Karlach is a perfect example of the Rhea Ripley effect, right? And so what makes Karlach so loved and what a lot of writers for Dragon Age Veilguard didn't get for Tav is that Karlach is someone who's incredibly violent, has had a horrid past, has been dealt a bad hand, and through all of those things that she's had to deal with is literally dying right in front of you. She still has an air of innocence and an air of wanting to just be normal. And so through her masking of pain of what she has to deal with, having a ticking clock of her life, she still keeps a positive, upbeat attitude. And what makes you fall in love with Karlach isn't the fact that she's beautiful, isn't the fact that she's a Dami mommy, isn't the fact that she's, funny. It's the fact that even in the sense of having the worst possible outcome happen for her, even though she knows she's not going to make it, she still tries her best to see the bright side of things in life. And that's what makes Karlach so endearing. And that's what makes people fall in love with her. It's not her looks or anything else. That's a part of it. But it's the fact that through all the horrible shit, there's an air of hope. That through her characterizations, through her speech, through her writing, through how she acts and what she does, that you can be like, we can fix this. We're going to fix you. We're going to do this. And you become so invested in her because of it. And I think that's what everybody forgets about Karlach.
Silence Idiot donated $1. Or Lesl, you have an Amazonian bred alien who is aggro from the get-go.
Yeah.
I was surprised to find her the best because you teach her humanity and care.
Yeah, or you start softening someone up. 100% Salist. Yeah, or you start seeing that specifically. Or same with Shadowheart, right? Like you start seeing her break down the barriers of, dealing with law. Like it's all these things, right? Carly gets kicked into the garden. She always crawls out. Yeah, it's like this, like really, it's good writing. And I agree with Jaffe that the problem is writing, right? It's the way things are written. And that's also a problem because if they're writing it with intent, then they wouldn't be this bad. Then no one would have these arguments or these concerns. But it's not being written with intent. It's being written to push an agenda, I guess you could say, rather than actually being written as in like, does this character make sense? I think that's the problem. Does Jaffe run an ice cream truck? Stop it.
Marbled into the text and the subtext in a way that the message is still there and you are expressing what your artists want to express. Because the thing that a lot of you guys on your side of this argument seem to forget.
Here's the problem. He's already talking about sides. He's already created a divisive divide between himself and the person he's speaking with. In his mind, Jaffe has already put himself as, you're wrong, I'm right, because your side. We don't even know if this person is left or right. We don't even know anything about them whatsoever. We just know that they just don't want bad writing. Does that make sense, chat? It's almost like he's approached this with that perspective.
You guys seem to think that the creative process, and maybe you don't,
like
you've seen the words I use are, you guys seem to think that the creative process is like asking your mom to make you a grilled cheese sandwich. Okay? The people that do this are creative. They are usually left-leaning.
Food analogy. Why? But why? But what does their political leaning have to do with bad writing?
They are outside the box thinkers. They were rejects growing up. They didn't fit in. I'm not saying all of them, but most artists and creative peoples tend to be that way. And in that, they're not.
No, but now we're stereotyping because now you're saying like people who are creative can't be right leaning? With a food analogy? Yeah, every time. Every fucking time food analogy.
Going to just make you the slop you want. Right? They're going to make some.
But why would it be slop, though?
thing that can motivate them and they're passionate about and they want to express. And a good business executive will say, do that.
Sin Vendetta Super Chat $9.99. Thank you, Alex and chat, for the heavy music suggestions.
You're welcome, bro.
It helped a good amount tonight.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for the 10, bro. I'm glad you had a good workout.
But if you're going to do it at this budget, you got to write it better so it doesn't, push away a lot of the audience. But you can do things that you can still want to do, but you got to be a lot more clever with your writing. Okay. That we agree with, but I'm sorry. It's like, if you guys want your red meat, right wing, whatever the fuck it is you want, that's fine. Then go get a studio to make.
What?
Coming hard.
Putting my shirt back on? No, I got paid to take it off. What up, Paris Music? I don't understand why. This is the same argument of like, oh, if you don't like what we're doing to this platform, go make your own platform. Go make your own game. And it's like, no, it's not about making my own game. It's about like, I just want a good medium. Right? It's exactly why you see people who are leaving the main media space for games and moving to YouTubers, because it's a different voice, because their voice isn't heard. It's like, it's putting everything through a political lens is honestly exactly why people are tired.
Silence Idiot donated $1.
They're so tired.
Never forget, Jaffe was initially mad. Kratos was softened in the new God of Wars, where he has to be a father. Progressive and left-leaning creators.
It's honestly, left or right doesn't even matter. Like in my personal perspective, I think what matters is the character written well, and many of these characters are not written well, and that's the problem. That's the real problem.
Make those games, but guess what? There's a reason your biggest stars on that side of the aisle are the guy who played Chachi on Happy Days, or Hercules, Kevin Sorbo, or John Schneider from the Dukes of Hazzard, right?
What does that have to do with anything? Has anyone said you look like Matt Damon? I've heard Ben Affleck, Paris. But what does Kevin Sorbo have to do with anything? There are people who just don't maybe want to talk about political processes when they're actors. They just want to act. So is he saying because Kevin Sorbo isn't bigger than everybody else on the left that's a bad thing?
Because most people that are conservative are not bad people, but the very nature of the definition of conservative suggests someone who is an inside the box thinker, and that is not where art comes from.
But that's not what that means.
Gene Gillespie Super Chat $2.
That's not
to
what
quote
that means.
Skill Up, it feels like our is in the room.
Like HR is in the room? Yeah, it does. It really does. An actor acting doesn't have to be an outside of the box thinker. They just have to be a good actor.
It just isn't.
Yeah, but again, this is not my issue about conservatives versus leftists or whatever. I'm talking about normies.
Okay.
They are fed up.
All right,
with
Dragonfly.
these
I heard your point. I think you're simply wrong, but you're welcome.
He didn't even let him talk. He let him talk for a minute in the beginning. Had 3 minutes of talking, and then when he goes to respond, what is this?
I'm going to call back anytime. I'm going to let you go because people are getting tired of the conversation. But hey, man,
what?
I support
you are getting tired. I think lots of people are very interested in this kind.
Xavier Super Chat $5. These comparisons he keeps on making are ridiculous.
Can we get some Keck W's in the chat? Can we get some Keck W's in the chat, please? Can we get some Keck W? I got to hear that again. Keck W in the chat, please.
Point. I think you're simply wrong, but you're welcome to call back anytime. I'm going to let you go because people are getting tired of the conversation. But hey, man, you know, I support
you are getting tired. I think lots of people are very interested in this conversation.
Okay,
but
chat.
It's fine. It's fine.
You are an arrogant little dick. You are an.
That. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. Holy shit.
It's fine. It's fine.
You are an arrogant little dick. You are an arrogant little dick.
I understand.
No, you don't understand. You are an arrogant little. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck what you think. Fuck you. You're off. I don't
Jaffe lost.
give a fuck what you think. My God, what an absolute prick. You
I can't put on the soundboard because the guy talks over it.
guys know who watch this show. What do? I'm always bringing people on with different opinions all the fucking time. All the fucking time. I don't have to agree with you. You don't have to agree with me.
Oh, man.
But my God, what an arrogant asshole.
Wow.
Dude, Dragonfly, if you're still watching, you're welcome to call back. I don't hate you, pal. But I'm sorry. I don't think you're right. I think you're mean. I think you're cruel. When you want to basically talk...
Bro, that is insane for him to say. I think you're mean. I think you're cruel. You want to talk over me?
When I say to you, the issue is the writing, and then you say, no, it's the message. You can never put pro-LGBT...
But that's not what he said. That's not what he said.
But I'm sorry. I don't think you're right. I think you're mean. I think you're cruel.
What he's saying is normies just don't want to hear it. Like, normal people just don't want to deal with political conversations that are just ham-fisted inside of their games. That's literally what he said. Normal people who are just regular people who play games just aren't interested into it. And that's perfectly a valid perspective.
You want to basically talk, when I say to you, the issue is the writing, and then you say, no, it's the message. You can never put pro-LGBT messaging in games.
But he didn't say that.
People don't like that. You know what they also didn't like back in 1940, 50, and 60? Narratives with black people in it.
Gorgloth owe a super chat $10. Sorry, but Grandpa better slow his roll. He throws insults and makes dementia-ridden arguments. He is so far off base, he is in the stratosphere bumming smokes off ET.
Play it again. He said, "No, people don't like it." Well, that's what I said before. It's when I said, "Normal people don't like it," Ventura. It was in the perspective of a normal person who is not wanting political content does not want to be given that kind of political content in their games. When he said normies, that's what he means. It's not that they don't like gay people or trans people. It's that they don't want they don't want a ham-fisted preach sermon
Koki
to
Super
them
Chat
in a video game.
$9.99.
That's what it is.
I think Jaffe does believe some of this to a certain extent. But I think he is purposely playing it up for engagement. This is the most people have watched his content. People are hate watching.
I could see that, Cobra. Does that make sense? Thank you for the 10, Cobra, by the way. Does that make sense, Ventura? Hopefully I explained that correctly. Did I make sense in that chat?
Brada Spliff Super Chat $5. Why does everything go back to black people for Jaffe?
I don't know, Brother Spliff. I don't know, bro. My boy, I don't know, bro. I don't know, bro. I don't know, bro. I don't know, bro. That's what I call it, crash out. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It honestly, Epic, it doesn't. Play it on, like, I'd rather play it on PC because mouse and keyboard does play better. It's just a better way of playing it. So Ventura, does that make sense? Chat, does what I say make sense?
Scoot Boot Super Chat $5.
Or did I misspeak?
When David Jaffe finally gets off his high horse, he's going to fall so hard on his face.
Yeah, I try not to be a high 100% says Saraz. Well, I'm middle-aged and blissfully insane. Jaffe needs more meds at this point. If they want to put direct messaging in their games, then I think it needs to be rated M. I just don't think the kids need to play games that are shoving M messages down your throat. I mean, we played games that had all kinds of messaging back in the 90s and 80s. I think it's all depending upon how well it's done. Even like on things like G.I. Joe and stuff like that too. So, Ventura says, I know Jaffe took it way off base. He said normies don't like it. Oh, okay, Ventura. I see what you're saying. Okay. Who's to say that hasn't fallen off already? Oof. Dragon Age is rated M. It is. I think it is, right, Machine? Deus Ex. Deus Ex is another perfect example. Yeah.
If you're going to be Mammy and Gone with the Wind and you're going to be helping Miss Scarlet get her dress worked on, that's acceptable. Well, guess what now? Denzel Washington's one of the biggest, most bankable fucking actors in the world. So sit on that, you fucking homophobic, racist asshole.
When did he become homophobic or racist? Did he say anything homophobic or racist? What was anything he said homophobic or racist? Spartan, thank you for the 5 gifted. This is kind of crazy. It feels like projection.
Super Chat $5. David doesn't know what cruel is. Cruel is labeling me and Yazi for thinking modern day gender ideals belong in medieval fantasy setting.
Cruel is labeling me and Yahtzee for thinking modern day gender reveals belong. I think it's also dependent upon like how it's like, again, how is it written? How is it presented? You know, like what are we doing here, right? I think that's the issue. You know, Gene? Oh, don't belong. Okay. We're thinking modern day gender ideals don't belong in medieval fantasy. So, Gene, here's a good example. When they took out, we're in World of Warcraft in the Scarlet Monastery, they took out the paintings of the actual women that were there, and then they replaced it with pictures of fruit. And that's the part that's like concerning. And it's not because I want to see, 68 pixel by 68 pixel images of women that are painted on there in World of Warcraft. It's because the Scarlet Monastery is a religious rite that has gone down the path of insanity by trying to chase the light and become good, but then all they've done is become the Spanish Inquisition, of just be falling into debauchery and horrible things and falling into demonic ways. So replacing those images means that real world stuff is impacting into my fantasy world, and that's what I don't want to have happen. If it made sense in the fantasy world, then sure, but it's not. It doesn't make any sense. Zaire, thank you for another 5 gifted, baby. Does that make sense, Gene?
People change, people grow, people evolve. I'm sorry that your Victorian sensibilities that you should have grown out of when your father left for cigarettes and never came back home, and you realized, you know what? My job is not to be like my dad because I don't have a masculine influence. My job is to become the kind of man he never could be.
What?
I'm sorry that you became the kind of man you are that are threatened by the fact that, yes, there are men that feel they're women. There are women that feel they're men. There are men that want to fuck men. Women want to fuck... Hell, women might want to fuck women, men, and fucking donkeys. I don't care. You shouldn't care. You should be nice to everybody, you arrogant piece of shit.
You should be nice to everybody, you arrogant piece of shit. You should be nice to people, you arrogant piece of shit. Zabishin, thank you for the $1. Rambling says Jaffe validating why I stopped watching him. Damn, Rambling, goddamn. All right. Wise woman once said, endless seas of talented individuals are out there in the gaming industry, and you're telling me AAA can't find a single fan?
Silence Idiot donated $1.
What?
Jaffe never considers he condones bestiality, necrophilia, and pedophilia with blanket statements like this that he then has to come back to say, no, not those though.
Yeah. This is crazy.
Bubsum's super chat $5 Canadian.
This is crazy.
Just finished a stream series of the main series single-player Final Fantasy games.
Oh, yeah?
15 is literally the definition of an actual mid-FF game.
Yeah. Yeah.
45 super chat $20.
Yeah.
No message. I just felt like it.
Thank you, Noob
Giovanni
Thank you for the
super
20,
chat
bro.
$5. Characters can have any sexuality they want, but I want them to iron out, well written, and likable. Don't let them just gay and one-dimensional.
Yes, I think that's the case as well. I think that's what everybody wants is like they want characters who they can relate to, but they also want characters that give them the ability to understand different perspectives that they didn't understand before. And I think that's why Baldur's Gate does so incredibly well, Giovanni. That's short answer, low, long answer, no. With the writers we have nowadays, nope, absolutely not. Minimizing the issue to right-wing people being closed-minded and left-wing people being open-minded is the most closed-minded thing you can say. Wow, that's really good. And you insult them, man, you just can't stop keeping the drama going. You're so unprofessional. I really hope this is why you never got out. This is why you never got your vision of God of War 3, because you're right. Bad writing is true, man. But if anyone is being mean or professional now it's you. Eastern gaming doesn't have this issue. Only Western gaming does, and Western gaming weaponizes it amongst consumers, and the consumers don't buy the game. And it was recently voted as the best game company in Eastern gaming in general for most fun games. Yeah.
Gorb Glorth owe a super chat $50.
Gorb!
You can have the content in games but not have it the only thing in there. Human beings love variety and options with deep story.
Yes.
It's when games only focus on one ideal, that's the issue.
Yes.
Plus I am not
gonna flip you, stop flipping. There you go. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? Like I don't get this. Video games can be about whatever the team wants them to be about. The biggest fact, thank you for the 10 Highlander. The quality of the writing. You could have the best message in the world and it wouldn't mean a thing if the writers have a low standard. There's a massive difference between the writing, in The Last of Us and Dustborn. I mean, they're both bad. Both deal with LGBT themes. There's a polar opposite levels of quality when it comes to the writing. Note I am not comparing the quality of the games, just the themes. I think Baldur's Gate 3 would be a way better example, honestly. I think it would be a much better example than that. That's just personally. Okay. That was rough.
The Deep Fryer super chat $4.99. 53-year-old man can't control his temper. What an embarrassment. He shouldn't be doing a call-in show, he can't handle it.
I think if I did a call-in show, it would be incredibly boring because it would be exactly what I did now with talking about that with chat. Like when I was like just calmly explaining that perspective, it would be very boring because then it would just be like, you're like, well, here's how it is. And you'd go, oh yeah, you're right. And not because I'm right, but because the problem with Jaffe, I'll be real. The problem with Jaffe is
Gobo Billy Super Chat $2.
Cap? Yeah, true.
Be kind to each other, you derpy gross pricks.
Exactly, Gogo. So the Goon Cult will make it entertaining? Yeah, they would. So I have a couple ideas, chat. I had an idea where I would have members call in because it'd be in the Discord, and then I would absolve members of their sins. It would be a members stream, but not locked to members. Does that make sense? So anybody who is a member and has Discord access could get into the call. They would then confess their sins on the call, and then I would bless them and absolve them on their sins and tell them what their penance would be. And then you would just become a member to do that. It'll go bad. That's the point. But it wouldn't be a members only stream. It would be like if you want to be a member, and then people would gift memberships to do that. And so that's what I'm talking about. So speaking of Reforge on here, this is why, like, the problem with a lot of streamers, especially someone like Reforge, is they expect people to gift members and donate. It's an expectation, right? You've encouraged a cult, you have. The difference is, the way I look at it is, what can I do to entice my viewers or to give them a reason to do so? Does that make sense?
Giovanni Super Chat $2. You can call it confessing with Pappy Alex.
Yes, true, Giovanni. Thank you for the 2.
Peter Brady Super Chat $2. We can call his Cinemax.
Oh my god. 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 Cinemax. Not a cult. This is not a cult, chat. This is, but that's the thing, right? Like, it's all about, like, do you have the ideas for people to want to tune in and want to be a member? Like, that's the way to do it. Hold on, I got a text. I got idea number 2. I have members on YouTube call into the stream. I then hear their sins.
Opinionated _ junkie Super Chat $2. Shout out to the fall of Syria. More COD stories.
All right. Their penance. I'll call it, what was it called? Cinemax. There you go. Like, you have to think
Highlander
of, like, out of the box things.
Super Chat $2. Want to sin? Come on in.
Exactly. I have to write it down or else I'll forget it. Just adding cult lore, true. You shall not goon for a month? Oh no. Forgive me, Papi Alex. But, like, you have to, like, think of, like, you have to think of ways of having people be engaged in your stream. And if they're engaged, go to the P.O. Box Monday. I've already written down, Bosky. It's already written down. You have to be engaged and creating a way for people to be engaged in your stream. If not, they're not going to care.
Super Chat $5. I must go to bed. I am exhausted from celebrating the fall of a certain demon.
Oh,
Mangelli. Gorbgloth owe a Super Chat $5. Alex, you do the divine works and we will work out the sacrificial bonfire Kool-Aid movement.
You son of a bitch. All right.